Hi everyone, welcome to Poppy DIY Crafts. Today we're going to be pouring some resin art. So I recently got some sunflowers and dried them and they came out looking great. So as you can see, the petals are still intact and the colors are still very bright and vivid. So I wanted to put them into a plate for display. I have 3 of them today and I want to do something different for each of them. So here's my plan. For the first one, we're going to start with a clear resin plus the flour. Then we're going to add a second coat with clear and gold flakes. I'm going to be using the foil flakes. And we're also going to add some lights. I got some LED string lights. So this is a set of 16 lights. And then finally, we're going to do a third layer with just white. So that's the first one. The second one is going to be just one layer. I'm going to start with a clear resin and add the flour. Then we're going to add some alcohol ink and lights. So that is going to be the second one. For the third one, I'm going to start with the clear and the flour first. Afterwards, on top of the dry resin, I'm going to add some alcohol ink and let it dry. And finally, I'm going to add a layer of clear resin plus lights. Alright, so we have a plan. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, don't forget your respirator and gloves. Let's start by measuring out and mixing our resin. I'm not sure how much we'll need, so I'm going to start with 1 cup of resin. Next, before we fill up the mold, let's get the lights ready. Because the sunflower is so big and will take up most of the center, I want to arrange the lights so they're sitting mostly on the outer edge of the mold. Then we're going to pour a thin layer of resin. Use a heat gun to pop any bubbles on the surface. Now we're ready for the sunflower. Before we put it in, I'm going to coat the center of the flower with resin. Hopefully this will help prevent any bubbles from forming. I'm going to avoid the petals because they're very thin, and putting resin on it will make it fold up. Here we're going to carefully place the flower face down into the resin. With my stick, I'm going to gently press down on the petals to help squeeze out any bubbles trapped underneath. I don't want to press too hard because I don't want the petals to tear or fall off. Next, we're going to place the lights into the resin. I'm going to push the wires into the resin as much as I can. Finally, we're going to fill the rest of the mold up with resin. And we're going to quickly pop the bubbles with a heat gun. Now we're going to add layers of alcohol ink, starting with colors and then white to help drop the ink down. We'll do a few rounds of this. Don't you just love how the alcohol ink moves in resin? With this plate, we're done. We can set it aside to cure. Next, we're going to work on the next 2 plates. Similar to the first plate, we're going to pour a bit of clear resin a quarter of the way up in the mold and pop the bubbles with a heat gun. Then, before we drop in the flour, I'm going to add resin into the middle of the flour. And we'll place it face down into the resin. For one of them, we're going to pour more resin on top of the flour. We're going to pour it about halfway up the mold. On the second one, we're going to add some gold flakes. Then we're going to wait a few hours for the resin to cure. Alright everyone, so it's been a few hours and our resin is not completely cured, but it is hard. So this is the one with the alcohol drop. I think I want to add one more layer of clear resin so that we can hide the wires that are sticking out. On this other one, the one with the gold flakes, is looking really good. So we're going to pour one more layer of resin and add some lights. And also this one we poured about halfway. So this is the one where we're going to add some alcohol ink on top. I've never tried this before, so hopefully it turned out okay. So what I found interesting with this one is that a lot of air bubbles showed up. And as you can see right now, they've already hardened. So hopefully the next layer of resin would actually fill in the little gaps here. So I'm just kind of poking it, the little bubbles, so that we can open up the little cavity so that new resin can seep in. So let's go ahead and mix our resin. We're going to finish off the alcohol ink plate with a final coat of clear in the back. Then for the one with the gold flakes, we're going to add in the lights. Mix some gold flakes into your resin and pour it almost to the top. We need to save some space for the white. And this one is going to be a bit of an experiment. So what I wanted to do was drop some alcohol ink right on top and then let it dry. Okay, so I'm going to spray some alcohol on it. And I'm going to let it spread a little bit. With the heat gun, we're going to dry the ink. And then we'll lay down the lights. Finally, we're going to pour clear resin all the way to the top, and this one is done. So it's been a few hours and we're ready to finish the plate with the gold flakes with the final layer. I think using pure white might be too white, so I'm adding a tiny bit of yellow to make it a very pale cream. And we're going to pour a very thin layer along the back. Alright everyone, so it's been a day and we are ready to demold. So I am so excited about this. I can't wait to see what it looked like. So here is our first one. This is the one with one layer, the clear plus a flower and alcohol ink and lights. I did add one final layer of clear in the back yesterday just to cover the wires a bit more. As you can see, there's still a tiny bit sticking out, but I think that's okay, since this is the back anyways. So let's go ahead. Okay, so here is the back. You see a lot of colors. Here's the side. You can see that some of the colors sink down, but not all the way down to the bottom. And here it is. Okay, oh wow. Look at that. So let's turn on the lights. And there it is, all lit. So it looks really nice, especially the pinks around the side and a little bit of those colors along the other side. And the only thing is that there is a lot of bubbles going on. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize there'd be that many bubbles. Oh no. But bubbles aside, the flower looks really, really amazing, especially with the lights. And here's the second one. So hopefully we don't get those bubbles on this one. This one is the one with 3 layers. We have the clear and then gold flakes and then some light yellow. Okay, so here is the side. And here it is from the front. So this one has a little bit less bubbles, which is good. We got some gigantic bubbles here. And let's turn it on. Oh wow, this one's really pretty. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Super nice. The white, or the kind of pale white, is really nice in the back. Oh, it's just too bad. I wish we can get rid of these bubbles. And here's our third one. This one is with a bit of alcohol ink that is left dried on the first layer. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of see-through. We have a lot of fall colors. Here are the 2 layers. And here it is. Oh, I really wish there wasn't that many bubbles. But this one looks great too. Oh, just look at that. Let's turn on the lights. Ooh, this is very fall color. So when we did mix the alcohol ink, what it does is gives you that kind of watercolor effect or stained glass effect, which is really nice. Oh, and actually for this one, the bubbles are actually on top. So what we can do is actually we can fill this in with one more layer and it'll fill in these bubbles. So this one we can kind of fix. Alright everyone, so here are the 3 sunflower plates that we made. I think they turned out fantastic. Oh my goodness, they're so pretty. So my only gripe are the bubbles. I think next time what I'm going to do is press down on the petals and the flowers a few times to make sure that we squeeze out all the bubbles. And then hopefully we won't have this same problem again. But I really love the way this turned out. The flower just looks so nice, especially against the backdrop of the gold flakes and also this alcohol ink. Look at that. I love the texture back there. That is super cool. And this one too, with that kind of see-through stained glass effect. So do you have a favorite? If you do, let me know down below in the comment section. And I'll see you next time. Bye!